TVC Breakfast this Wednesday. The world has embraced technology, and every day new innovations and inventions spring up to simplify the way things are done. Well, not just that, efficiency and speed are part of the benefits that technology has brought the world. In view of this, the Nigerian government is gradually catching up as it's on the verge of digitizing its processes to harness the benefits of the digital economy. Well, according to the Minister of Communications, Innovation and the Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, President Tinubu had given a mandate to transform public services with technology. The minister adds that a lot of gadgets we use in the country are interconnected, which means it must be protected. Recognizing the potential risks associated with data collection and sharing, the minister underscored the importance of protecting data appropriately, which is why he says companies that manufacture digital gadgets must take responsibility for ensuring that the data they acquire about people is secure. Joining us now via Zoom is seasoned technology expert Stephen Onia. It's good to see you again. Welcome to TVC Breakfast. So, all that Dr. Tijani said was done in the light of the World Data Privacy Day. And the theme for this year is essentially take control of your data. But, help us to marry the stance, what the world or what this theme is driving at, in addition to what the Nigerian government is narrowing it down to, basically protection of data of, everyday Nigerians.
All right, thank you very much. No, thank you very much for having me again. Now, the Global Data Privacy Day dates back 1981, and it's a creation of an European treaty, which was on the heels of the Convention for the Protection of Persons with regards to the automatic processing of data. So that's the origin of this whole promotion and awareness we all do on the 28th of January, myself inclusive. Now, what I'm driving at is, I think by 1985 or so, the Committee of Ministers now decided to designate that 28th of January, which was the day the Convention for the Protection of Persons with regards to automatic processing of personal data. So the day was designated, I think, in 85, if I'm not mistaken. So what the federal government is doing is very much in line, because the essence of we celebrating this day is for us to have it in remembrance, the importance and the stance professionals across the world, leaders across the world, agencies and parastatals across the world have taken against data privacy. So what they are doing is well in line with best global practices.
Okay, so we are seeing this situation where, in my head, I'm asking a question. Why have we not taken on to using data for everyday government processes like we ought to be? Is this coming too late in the day?
Okay, so first and foremost, anything you are implementing in technology is never too late, but there's a significant process that governs technological designs and implementation. And I'm going to walk you through digitization, digitalization, and digital transformation, which seem to be the evolutionary pattern when you're trying to transform your business with technology. Now, digitization properly is when you convert analog representations, analog signals, papers, things that you have in symbols, items that you have in physical forms into digital forms, where we have a paperless environment. Digitization is when you make an already digitized system more efficient. You design optimal systems. You automate some steps. That's when you digitalize. Like digital transformation, it's more of when a business creates a new kind of opportunity out of their existing business. Picture a bank selling recharge card. that is digitally transformed. That's an advanced level of the digital journey. So for me, I feel what we should do mostly at this stage of this digitization journey, because it takes a process, particularly for a country like Nigeria, where we have our civil service is paper oriented. Some of our medical records are not digitized. I'm not one of those that would say maybe it's too late or they should hurry it up. You can't hurry this kind of implementation up. And if you also consider the problem we always have every 8-year cycle or 4-year cycle, for any leader that will have a long-term plan to walk us through the total digitalization, and digital transformation must really, really be sent from effort, which would be very hard because it takes years and it might even go beyond his own tenure. But nevertheless, I don't think it's too late for them to start making all the effort. We have the Nigerian Data Protection Commission. We have several things already in place that is helping us, and we are evolving. Because even this convention that I referenced, that European treaty, which is the origin of this whole celebration, it's also evolving. Even if I remember clearly, I think they are still going to release a revised version of that same treaty this year. So we are evolving. I don't think it's about being fast or being slow.
Okay, so following up on that, you say we are evolving, but do we have the capacity? Because let me read this a report for you. Now, according to Quarter 1 2023 report, Nigeria experienced approximately 82,000 data breaches. That's a 64% increase from the previous quarter's 50,000 data breaches. Now, this has made Nigeria to rank 32nd on the list of countries with the most data breaches in Quarter 1 of 2023, up from 41st in the previous quarter. So this now brings me to the question about our capacity to handle the amount of data that will help us ensure that tech is used to achieve national goals.
All right, that's a very, very good one. Now, so in terms of capacity, you see, we have capacity. We have capacity in Nigeria. But the problem I think we have is our processes for tapping this capacity and making them be of value to us as a country. That's I think our processes, they are too cumbersome to surmount. They are too elaborate to process. So, but that's a story for another day. But nevertheless, the need to evolve fast is very important when you consider capacity. Someone like myself, because I as a computing practitioner, which is what I do every day, I don't only interact with policymakers that are regulating these industries, because from this global data privacy celebration awareness we had last, I heard with Galaxy Backbone, which is a company, an IT company, will manage the data exchange, while I think the NDPC, the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, responsible for data privacy. No, I see all these things happening, but nothing can happen well without data literacy. Data literacy. You see, because of the nature of what we do, or the end users end, and also at the regulators end, we see the difference. They have a bird's eye view of the data privacy problem we have in the country. For those of us serving both cadres, we know it's beyond that. A typical person, educated person, grown up, high-class kind of person, still makes mistake when they ask you to send your WhatsApp OTP and they ask your WhatsApp. These are basic things that a typical, we need the awareness to go beyond making regulatory level or policy level promises. You should think of what can you do for the masses so that they can be literate when they come to their data privacy, because there is no amount of infrastructure or policy you put in place. If the person that is the end controller, or if you can use the word end user of that target device, is not literate about the do's and don'ts, your policy might just not to achieve anything along the way.
Right, and then the Nigerian government is also talking about calling on manufacturers of gadgets to also ensure that the data rights of its consumers are not compromised but protected. What are your thoughts on this? How workable is this?
I think it's a good call, but I always just, I have this theory about Nigerian leaders always trying to play jamboree and trying to score technology medals with their statements, particularly about things like this. Yes, in the US, we've had the case of Huawei where they were accused of espionage from their devices. But the truth is, don't start what you cannot pursue. That's my own theory. Don't start what you cannot end. You can tell these guys, do this with your devices, do this to make sure your device is just word of mouth. Are you evaluating this device? Because I know these devices don't just enter the country. They pass through a process. They go through a certified process to become what we all find in our hands and we can purchase off the shelf. So if you are giving a statement and you say they should take care, protect our devices, they should do all that, I'm not even going to bother myself analyzing that because where do you want to start from? Are you going to start sampling our devices to know if we have already been breached? I don't want to play technology medals with this kind of statement. That is not acceptable.
All right, so for the final consumer now, you've also mentioned the issue of data literacy, and of course you finally mentioned about data breaches and all of that. What more can we do to ensure that we don't get these kinds of breaches, and with our devices we understand what we are holding and use it appropriately?
Okay, so this is just going to turn into a quick data privacy class. So I'll just give key points, just very few ones. Number one, there's a 3-2-1 backup rules. There's a 3-2-1 backup rule. Number one, keep any important data you have in your possession in 3 different devices. Save it on 3 different devices. Number two, make sure 2 of those devices are not in the same place, meaning one is offsite. Make sure you don't put it, 2 of those devices must be offsite. That's the 3-2-1 backup. Number two, please use a secured password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is not in any way a secure password. In short, when you use ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4, they are not in any way a secure password. And I am speaking as an ethical hacker. If I want to get into your phone, I have almost 25 random passwords I will first test to be sure does this person fall into the gullible category. So stop using cheap password. Use password with uppercase, lowercase, characters, symbols. You can do that. 3, there's nothing wrong in protecting your phone with a password or with a biometrics. There's nothing wrong in that. People have argued husband and wife should not protect their phone. What is wrong in husband and wife protecting their phone and knowing each other's password? The reason why you should always password your phone is when you become the vulnerable point and you mistakenly drop your phone or completely misplace your phone. We have seen in our forensic practice, computing now, we have seen several issues that were traced back to an unknowing person mistakenly dropping the phone. So think of the hazard you can cause for yourself and the people around you. Well, we don't have much time. I can go on what you can do to make your phone protected. But for now, I think we can stop there.
Okay, but let me take you back to your earlier point, the issue of tech makers, tech or gadget manufacturers. Now, you don't obviously appear to be a fan of this move by government, saying or urging these manufacturers to ensure that data rights of individuals aren't compromised. If I get you well, you say it's not exactly practical, but tell us what the way to go would be, while narrowing it down on the roles of government. Even the legislature too is also talking about them working in this issue of data protection. So what will be the way to go from your analysis?
All right, so thank you very much. Now, you see, if you are going to check anything as a government, there's a process required. First and foremost, you raise the issue. Second, you have a monitoring infrastructure in place. 3, and you have an enforcement framework in place. Now, I don't want a situation where the country come up and raise issues that they have, that at the time they are making that issue, they're not telling us what are your monitoring framework, monitoring infrastructure you have in place to ensure these guys are not violating this right. What are your enforcement strategies to enforce? Even if we now catch you, maybe we catch a big brand siphoning our data. What plan do we have? We knew what they went through in US when they accused Huawei of something similar. We knew the kind of system they demonstrated. We saw the kind of infrastructure that helped them figure that out. Don't let's raise an issue that will make them laugh at us. When you come out and say, we are telling you, you must not do this, those guys will just laugh. But the first question is, how do you even go? What do you have in place that is monitoring the yes, you have a system that checks this phone, a faulty system, by the way. You have a system that checks this phone before they are brought to the country, and where people can just, all of us, what we know is we want to buy a phone, we go off the shelf, and we get the phone. We don't get to bother have the phone money to get in or sneak in to the country. We don't bother about that. And when we are using it, nobody cares what goes on our phone. Nobody will care whether we get warranty. Nobody cares whether the phone is siphoning our data. Even if we now decide you will eventually have a monitoring infrastructure where you are sampling our devices, where is the enforcement framework for that kind of accusation? So we don't open a wound that we cannot trace.
So in all of this now, we are in 2024, and like you had mentioned, you're an ethical hacker, and you've talked about the fact that our password should not just be random numbers. What more can, apart from individuals, now government do to ensure that our data is not breached?
Okay, all right. So let's be fair to the government, because for someone like us that have been studying this industry, yes, one of my skills is ethical hacking, but I do a lot more in the software development space. Pardon me that I just have to reference that. Now we have a journey we've been on in Nigeria when it comes to data privacy, and I'm one of those that want to be fair to government. They went from, I think, the Nigerian from NIDA, they went to the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation. They went to the Nigerian Data Protection Bureau. Now we have the Nigerian Data Protection Commission. We have not been sleeping as a country. And these things don't happen overnight, particularly when you are dealing with a crime or an environment where there's no depth in terms of understanding in terms of data literacy. So to enforce or even create frameworks and policy for data privacy might not be as easy as we think. But nevertheless, let's give them a chance. They've come a particular way. They've got this far. Look, the question we should ask ourselves is, could they be a bit faster? Maybe yes. But I'm not going to come here and crucify them completely, looking at how far they've come and the journey they've come. My own point is, don't create issues that you don't have plans. Don't make it about scoring a medal that I told them so they can know I scored. I don't. Let's address technology as a tool that when in the hands of human can achieve anything. When in the hands of the bad can also achieve very bad things. In the Nigerian social economic space, we have bad people using computers. We have a brand name for them. Some call them Yahoo boys. Some call them hackers. Whatever name you call them, we have them in our environment. In some countries, they have a database of cyber criminals. In some countries. So even when you are dealing with them, this guy is on database. So we need to put it in place. But I won't come and say they've done nothing right. I won't say that.
In the midst of all of this, the government is also speaking about investing in data protection strategies, or attracting or making the system attractive for investors. What are your thoughts, say, in this regard? Is the land indeed green, at least from where you stand?
Yes, I think attracting our data privacy landscape, I believe that's what you asked me, to investors. Because first and foremost, what would these investors come and do? They're not coming to put money and walk away. They will bring infrastructure that will enhance our data privacy. So from that perspective, but yes, they will come in and do some business. But to be able to effectively make good money out of a particular sector or a niche space in technology, you also will invest something. So I think it's a good move, a very, very good move, by the way, because these guys not only come in with the money, they will come in with the expertise, that is knowledge. They will come with the tools, that is the infrastructure. They will come with much more than the money that we invest in our economy or the infrastructure that we invest. They will liaise with those of us that in practice locally, we will exchange knowledge, and a lot of things will happen. So I think it's a very, very key for bringing in investors in that space.
Okay, so in all of this now, we have a lot of young people who are going into tech at this point now. How can we ensure that there is a liaison between a lot of people coming into tech and safety precautions?
When you mean safety precautions, you mean technology-related safety?
Yes.
All All right. Well, tech is the juice now, because everybody wants to do tech. In those days, we were not motivated by the money in tech. It's several years now. We just wanted to do computing. Now, but the truth is, I don't see much safety related to the person doing the tech than the person they are interacting with. Let me explain. You see, for a typical person who wants to do tech, there's a journey, there's a curve you have to follow. You can't wake up overnight, buy a computer, and say you're a technology professional. Talk of saying you can't just wake up overnight and do that. You will go through a season where you are developing yourself, whether we are self-educating or you are going somewhere and they are training you. Now, this approach, because I know about this program being anchored by the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy. That's this training they are doing across Nigeria. That is a form of data literacy. The more tech professionals you have in the climate, the only problem I think we have now is brain drain. The level of brain drain in Nigeria is as if we are manufacturing them and they're just exporting them. It's as if we don't have it. But the minute where we don't have it, a long-term vision, when someone comes into tech and decides to stay in tech for this is 20 years, this is my 20th year in computing in Nigeria. Some people don't have plan for 4 years. Once you are interviewing them, they say they want to work for 3 years and they want to go to Canada. They want to go to UK. Now that is their vision. Now, then coming into tech, and we have more tech professionals, whether on the expert level, professional level, or amateur level. It's a plus for us in every way. It's a plus for us in every way. Because even if it's only a word they can give out to a market woman, don't send them that OTP. That OTP, don't send all those, their interaction with the people and the society. That these young tech professionals actually increase our level of data privacy. It increases it because they are now the one interacting with young people, non-techie, who are a larger population of the country. Their presence in their midst helps shed light into what is obtainable. Now, we don't expect everybody that wants to be that have their data privacy guaranteed to be a tech professional. Because people always have that mistake that they cannot have a data privacy because they're not tech professionals. No. You don't have to be a tech professional to have a data to have a data that is private to you and is guaranteed. You don't have to be a tech professional to do that. The more tech professionals we have, the more we have, the more diffused to be in our society, socio-cultural system, where they can interact with people around them and they can be able to communicate, assist in whatever way they have. This is not a financial assistance, but the problem we have now is brain drain. More people are joining and more people are leaving. So those of us in practice, we know it's not a plus. And eventually, more people are having, because the money they have, we see the cycle of people that are leaving, but we just need help in that regard. But there's nothing we can do about it.
True. But look, you talked earlier about the 3-2-1 process. Now, I'm concerned because the first one you mentioned is that have your details in 3 different devices. Am I correct?
Yes, very correct.
Okay. But in this day and age where we have situations where, for instance, your contacts are in Gmail, your pictures are in Gmail. Once you move to another phone, just put your Gmail account and everything comes. How do we navigate that and put everything in different devices?
All right. Well, I thank you for saying this. But there's a way you can back up your entire device and keep a physical advice archive. Nevertheless, you see, when you are giving data privacy tips, some tips apply to some aspect of computing, while some might apply to others. And I'm going to elaborate on these 3 tips I gave. You see, for example, let's say you have a confidential video, you are in the media space, shared that you want to use in your practice of journalism, and someone shared a highly confidential video as a file. Forget your contact now. And say, please don't let anybody see it. And you know this video is a fake news. And you have it on your PC. Such data, you want to be private, it's private data, it has been declared as private data by the person that gave you. You need to have it in 5, 3, 2, 1 place, have it in 3 media. One can be on your PC, one can be on your phone, and one can be on the flash drive. Okay. You can have it in 3 media. So that can settle that. That is what we mean by 3, 2, 1. Now for your contact, you see there are some highly sensitive personal data, like your contact. Now, we don't, the practice of computing basically do not leave that to you alone. Almost every device helps you protect your highly sensitive data. Almost every device. That's why you have GP backup, you have Samsung Cloud backup, you have your local phone backup. But that does not mean you cannot export your data. If you go to any device, there's an option to export contact. So if you decide to do a 3-2-1 rule for your contact data, all All you need to do is use the export option, because there's an option to back up in the cloud, Google, an option to back up in Samsung Cloud, and an option to back up, they're set locally on your device, so you can use the export option, but it's still device related.
All right, Stephen Onia, this would be a fine place to end our discussion for now. We thank you very much for speaking with us about the possibilities of this intensified data protection, strategies on the part of the government and indeed every other stakeholder. Stephen Onia, thanks again.